wonder why some people have a sticky personality and others don't? Ever wonder why some people can make people fall in love and some other person who's completely more attractive than them can't make somebody fall in love with them? Literally figured out the main reason why, and this is the main reason why people choose to work with me. And this is why: inconsistent behavior, people. Inconsistent behavior. Out of all the things that people do that actually gets people to fall in love, inconsistency is the number one reason why people realize they're falling in love with you. Inconsistency is the number one reason why people choose to pay me hundreds of dollars to work with me. And what that tells me is this: is out of all the strategies out there, inconsistent behavior is the number one thing that will get people to pay closer attention to you. It's the number one thing that will make people think about you day and night. And today we're going to be talking about how that affects people's mind and how you can leverage it in a way, without going straight to hell, that will improve the relationships in your life. And towards the end of the video, we're going to have a story time that exemplifies the power of being inconsistent and how you guys can use it. And honestly, it's such a simple tactic. All you got to do is just stop and go. So watch till the end of the video, because the story might surprise you how it ended. All right. Honestly, it might surprise you how it ended, because when I read that story, I was like, okay, I did not expect that, but it honestly had an empowering ending. So let's continue with the video. One of the main reasons why we gravitate towards other people is to remove anxiety. Honestly, that's usually one of the main reasons. And as a result, anything, this is toxic, anything induces anxiety catches our attention. All right. And anything that creates anxiety, we prioritize. The problem with consistency is that it doesn't create that type of anxiety. Now, we're not here to create anxious motherfuckers, people. We're not here to hurt or manipulate. What we need is the right amount of anxiety that creates respect, right? Inconsistency has an effect that just creates anxiety. And that anxiety causes people to lose their willpower. That anxiety is the anxiety that we tend to feel when we fall in love. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of anxiety, just like there's nothing wrong with a little bit of bacteria in your body, right? You need good bacteria. You need a little bit of good anxiety.
In fact, in the book, The Art of Seduction, there's a chapter on why it's important to create a certain level of anxiety. Listen up.
5. Create a need. Stir anxiety and discontent. A perfectly satisfied person cannot be seduced. Tension and disharmony must be instilled in your target's minds. Stir within them feelings of discontent and unhappiness with their circumstances and with themselves. Their life lacks adventure. They have strayed from the ideals of their youth. They have become boring. The feelings of inadequacy that you create will give you space to insinuate yourself, to make them see you as the answer to their problems. Pain and anxiety are the proper precursors to pleasure. Learn to manufacture the need that you can fill.
And that's the power of inconsistency, is that inconsistency creates a desire for you to be inconsistent. People don't like inconsistency. People like predicting things properly.
Everyone wears a mask in society. We pretend to be more sure of ourselves than we are. We don't want other people to glimpse that doubting self within us. In truth, our egos and personalities are much more fragile than they appear to be. They cover up feelings of confusion and emptiness.
So that's why when anyone acts inconsistent, I am telling you, it's literally one of the main reasons why everyone calls me. It's really like the reason why people call me, to be honest with you. Like, I have a chart that says why you're calling me. Inconsistency is literally almost all of the reasons why people call me.
Anxiety, right? And what happens is that whenever you start to act, or you start to act inconsistent, people have the choice to do one or two things: to abort or continue. Now, what happens is that if they continue, they have been hooked. If they continue, you have hooked your claws into them. You have no choice. If you tolerate people who are inconsistent, you're going to fall in love with them. It's just that simple. You're going to fall in love with them, no matter who you are. So you have to be careful. But we could use this to our advantage, because I notice with all of my clients, the ones that tolerate inconsistency are the ones that fall in love the deepest, right? And the beauty about this is that once they choose to stay with your inconsistent behavior, they fall in love deeper. Now, we're not here to create anxious people. We're just here to give enough inconsistency to elicit respect, enough inconsistency to make them lose control over their emotions. Essentially, this strategy makes them your slave. Alright. So the first thing that it does is that it creates anxiety. You got to remember, man, if somebody is not anxious before meeting you, if somebody doesn't have a little bit of hint of anxiety, they don't really have respect for you, right? They need to feel afraid whenever you cross their boundaries and they're about to tell you, hey, you crossed my boundaries. There needs to be some level of anxiety because it shows respect. There needs to be some fear, some level of anxiety at them asking you out because they think you're so valuable. There needs to be some level of anxiety at them trying to go for a kiss because they don't know whether or not you like them back. There needs to be some level of anxiety at them asking you to be their boyfriend or girlfriend because they know you like them, but not fully enough for them to feel completely comfortable. Anxiety is a sign of respect. Now, over anxiety where it shows you in the face, a little psycho look, we're not talking about that. We're talking about I don't know if she's going to like me, man. Like, I might ask her out, she's my friend, but I don't know if she's gonna... That anxiety is what you need, man. It's oh my God, lately he or she hasn't texted me. Oh my God, Father Alex K, shut up. He or she hasn't texted me in 2 days. Or do they like me or not? Then you text them, then you realize they're at a meditation retreat, right? This anxiety causes people to see you in a different way temporarily, enough for them to not fully take you for granted. So remember, right? Let's talk about it. The anxiety creates a level of respect, right? Because when people are too laid back around you, it's like a boss, right? Who their coworkers talk to their boss like anyone, right? You need to have some level of anxiety with your boss in order to keep that barrier, that professional barrier between the two of you, right? Now, the next thing that it does is that it changes their priorities. Okay. When you create a certain level of anxiety, healthy level of anxiety, they start to prioritize you more, right? And each time you create some anxiety, maybe you pulled away a little bit, maybe you didn't respond on time, maybe you canceled a plan and now they're thinking whether or not you're going to be there for me. Each time they experience that, they start to prioritize you even more. If without anxiety, you can prioritize it. It's like your phone. Your phone, most people prioritize your phone more than anything. So whenever you lose your phone, you go like, anxiety. You find it? Emotions, right? Each time this happens, every time this happens, it increases the level of priority. That's why inconsistency is so powerful. And look, this is how children develop an anxious attachment style, where they love their parents more than they should. Meaning, they love their parents, but there's an extra energy of insecurity that is too overbearing. Now, look, this is the evil part. If they had inconsistent parents, this works much better. Now, I will give you guys a warning. If they had inconsistent parents, please don't do this too much on them. You need this enough to create a certain level of respect, but you have to sort of like give them hints of it, because if they have an anxious attachment style and you do this, it might create a certain level of anxiety where they'll start to watch my channel to try to counter your games and strategies, right? So it's important that you know that they don't have too much of anxiety, because if they have a lot of anxiety and you do this, you're going too far. It's called manipulation and it's evil. The next thing that this does is that it creates emotional investment, right? And kind of similar to a child, right? The inconsistency can lead to heightened level of emotional investment. Children may feel the need to work harder to gain their parents' affections, leading to a deeper, albeit more anxious, attachment to them. And this is why this strategy is very powerful. It really is. It works on almost everyone. Like, the reason why people call me is because of inconsistency. And you don't even need to do anything. And in fact, the fun about life is that if you're being honest with yourself and you're being really honest, you'll notice that there are moments when you have to be inconsistent because life comes to you. Maybe you got to work more. and you got to cancel plans, but you don't do it because you are afraid to hurt their feelings. Who gives a fuck? If you have to cancel plans because of something going on in your life, cancel it. It's not going to hurt the relationship. In fact, it's going to make them like you more. You see, I am not telling you guys to orchestrate inconsistency. I'm telling you, allow life to get in the way, because it does get in the way. Maybe you miss your flight and you can't see them now. Maybe they intentionally miss their flights, or maybe you actually miss your flight. That thought is going to be in their heads, and that thought is what creates the friction to increase the love that they feel for you. And above all, just like a child, by you being inconsistent, they start to crave your validation more. If you want somebody to crave for your validation, just start acting inconsistent, right? People will gravitate towards you. The problem with that is that some people just go too far with this. Some people are way too inconsistent. And as a result, it creates people who are resentful of it. So if you want to be able to apply these strategies, work with Father Alex one-on-one by clicking in the description down below so that you could call me. I could teach you how to do. So I could teach you how to counter. The way that most people need to counter inconsistency is through your own inconsistency, right? And it's usually you're testing them, right? And this is why I tell people, if you meet people who are inconsistent, don't interact with them, because you're gonna fall in love. It's a strategy that hits at the core of human beings, because that's the one thing that a child first encounters that creates an unstable attachment style. This works on almost everyone. Doesn't matter who you are. Let's go to a story time where somebody actually applied the strategy and they got them to get the person that they wanted. So to illustrate the power of inconsistency and how it's actually one of the main reasons why you end up falling in love with people who you usually wouldn't love, we're going to read a story of someone who actually applied these strategies and got the results that I usually see from people who work with me one-on-one. Let me show you what it says. I got this from Reddit. Hi, Reddit. I'm hurting so much and my thoughts are coming out of jumbled. But if you can read this, please don't try to pass by. Even a small word that can cheer me up will be insanely helpful. About a year ago, I started catching feelings for this guy, Tom, 32 years old, from my friend group. We really hit it off during our meetup. Mind you, friend group. Meeting people through friends creates more consistency, literally, because they know they can't acting like an asshole when you know they're friends. We really hit it off on our first meetup. He had this charm that was just irresistible. He'd text me out of the blue saying things like, "You're the best part of my day. I can't wait to see you again." I was over the moon whenever he reached out, which made it all more confusing when he goes silent for days afterwards. We had finally started dating for about a month ago, and at first it felt like a dream come true. But then his inconsistency kicked in full force. One weekend he'd plan a romantic dinner, and then the next he'd cancel last minute with some vague excuses. I tried to brush it off, thinking maybe he just needed space. Then the breaking point came when I planned a weekend getaway for us to reconnect. I was so excited, but then we got there. He was glued to his phone the entire time. Oh, see, this is when you tolerate this bullshit, you fall in love with these motherfuckers, man. So he was glued to his phone the entire time without barely acknowledging her. I confronted him and he shrugged it off, saying he was too stressed to focus on us. I was heartbroken, but then I had a light bulb moment. Maybe I should just mirror him and his behavior. If he could be unpredictable, why couldn't I? So I started being less available, responding to his text hours later instead of instantly. When he wanted to make plans, I'd say sometimes that I was busy, even if I wasn't. To my surprise, he started paying more attention. Suddenly, he was the one asking why was I distant and waiting for my replies. Yeah. A good problem to have is to say that you're inconsistent. It was empowering to see the tables turn, but honestly, it also made me realize how exhausting this game was. I didn't want a relationship built on inconsistency or mind games. In the end, I told him that I wanted something real and steady. He admitted that he didn't know if he could give me that. So we decided to end things. It was hard, but I feel like I've come out stronger, knowing what I truly want and deserve in a relationship. Thanks for listening. Just writing this out to help people out. I've been through some similar. I like to hear your experiences. And as you can see, this is something that is honestly is really the main reason why people call me. You don't need to do backspins and spin or Rooney to get somebody attention. Just be inconsistent. And if somebody's being inconsistent, be inconsistent yourself. And if somebody's being inconsistent, don't tolerate it. Because if you stare at the abyss long enough, the abyss will stare back at you.
So a lot of you guys have been asking me, how can I purchase all of your courses in one go? Well, if you guys want to purchase all of them, you guys can join the Mindful Attraction University, people. Yeah, that's right. And in this, you'll be able to access all of my courses for $3.99. Initially, if you purchase all of my courses, Emotional Mastery, Psychological Game of Attraction, my new course, The Feminine Woman, Natural Chemistry, Charisma Blueprint, Nice Girl, you guys can purchase all of it for $600, but with the bundle deal, you guys can purchase it for $3.99. Or you guys can purchase it in 3 easy payments of $125, people. Yeah, that's right. Or you guys can purchase it with the bonuses. So you not only do you get the courses, but the bonuses. And that comes down to $7.99 or 4 easy and mindful payments of $199. Now, these bonuses are not regular bonuses. These bonuses are legit, almost like courses within a course, right? So you guys can just click on the description down below and explore the types of bonuses. For example, I have bonuses on how to get over your ex, how to become more creative, how to, especially in the Feminine Woman, I have a bonus about how to penetrate the mind and how to speak in a way that gets people to do what you want them to do. Like, it's honestly one of the craziest sections that I've ever made, because most of these courses, people, I come up with those ideas in meditation retreats. Nobody goes to the extent that I go. I go to meditation retreat to create these courses. There's a 14-day money back guarantee. If you don't like it, just ask me for the money back within 14 days, and I'll give you all the money back. Father Alex has never rejected a money back offer if I offered it. So, and if you guys already purchased one of my courses, for example, and you guys want to get the bonuses while getting a discount, you know what I'm saying? I have discount codes for people who purchase my courses. So if you purchase my courses, just send me a private message. Or if you work with me one-on-one, I'll give you a big discount for the courses. And there I can help all of you guys understand that this is a movement. Most people never knew this type of knowledge before. And I am trying to empower women across the world and liberate them from these negative and one-sided relationships through these courses. So hopefully you guys can spread the message and help other people out. And I'll see you guys inside. Or else I'm close to the